Note that the tutorial video only demonstrates some operation. The specific operation should refer to the manual. Please keep the manual. First, I'll demonstrate the locking method of the buckle. The first is bending fixation. The icon in the manual is shown in the figure above, which is to fold the buckle 90 degrees and tighten it. The buckle and the part are in a fitting state, without protrusions. The second is twist fixation. The icon on the manual is shown in the figure above, is to turn the buckle 90 degrees. There will be a bulge. The third is curling fixation. The icon on the instruction manual is shown in the figure, is to use pliers to clamp the end and rotate it 180 degrees to fix. During the assembly process, the buckle locking method is specific to the instructions. I won't demonstrate it in detail later. Note that during installation, don't bend or force the holes too hard. Otherwise the metal will fatigue and it is easy to break. This product is made of 2 metal plates and 1 wooden plate. For the bracket version, it adds 2 metal plates D&E and 1 wooden plate F. The bracket version needs to be purchased separately. Please note the plate and part numbers. If the parts are damaged, please use glue first. If it can't be bonded, please contact customer service for replacement. When attaching the metal plates, stick them along the middle, and don't let the metal sheet near the edge. To avoid hanging the wooden board, use a utility knife to cut the wooden board. Use sandpaper to polish the connection point. To make the side smoother, the side with the part number is the front. Cut the part from the triangular connection point. Be sure to pay attention to the front and back during assembly. In the manual, the white transparent area is the front, and the gray fill is the reverse side. Let's start. Find and cut off part B3 to 1. Be sure to cut off the middle part. Third, face the front to yourself. Fold the 2 side clips back 90 degrees. Third, continue to face forward. Bend it slightly backward into a circle. Put the folded buckle on the corresponding slot on the other side, and lock the buckle. After assembly, it looks like this. Fold it 90 degrees along the dotted line to the front. Repeat the same operation on the other side, and fold it 90 degrees forward. Place the front of it to 1 facing yourself on the upper buckle of the assembled B3, and lock the buckle to fix it. Find and cut out parts of 44, a 37, and a 14. Turn the back of a 14 towards yourself. Fold it up 90 degrees along the dotted line. Insert a 5mm magnet into the folded A14. Put the folded A14 into the corresponding slot on a 37. And lock the buckle. Turn a 40 for front to yourself. Fold the side buckle back 90 degrees. Continue to face forward. Bend it slightly backward into an arc. Place the assembled A37 with the front facing up and install it on the corresponding slot on A's back, and lock the buckle to fix it. Continue to bend A44. Install the slot in the corresponding buckle of A37, and lock the buckle to fix it. Continue to bend A44. Put the slot on the corresponding buckle of A37. Put the folded clip of A44 in the other slot, and lock the buckle. Install the assembled A44 in the inner slot of A21. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off part A1 and A43. A43 is facing you. Fold the buckle 90 degrees backward. A43 continues to face forward, and bend it slightly backward into an arc. Install the folded A43 into the corresponding slot on the right side of A44. Install the folded clip of B3 in the reverse slot of A43, and lock the buckle. A1 is facing forward. Fold the buckle back 90 degrees. A1 continues to face itself, and bend it slightly backward into an arc. Install the folded A1 in the corresponding slot on the right of A4. Put the folded buckle on the reverse side of A1, and lock the buckle. Find and cut out A18, B10, and B90 keys. A18 facing itself. Fold it up 90 degrees along the dotted line. Fold the lower layer buckle back 90 degrees. Install the folded A18 into the corresponding slot on B10, and lock the buckle. Install the assembled B10 on the corresponding slot on the back of B9, and lock the buckle. The 9th one is facing yourself, and fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. Install the buckle of B10 in the corresponding slot, and lock the buckle. Do the same on the other side. Fold it 90 degrees back along the dotted line. Install the buckle on the corresponding slot and lock it. And lock the buckle. And fold it back along the dotted line. Install the buckle in the corresponding slot and lock it. Fix the buckle. Find and cut off parts A23 and A24. A23 with the front facing you. Bend it slightly backward along the dotted line. Fold the buckle up 90 degrees. And lock the buckle. Install the folded A23 card slot on the B9 corresponding buckle. And lock the buckle. Install the slot of A24 on the corresponding buckle of A9. Fix the buckle. Install the assembled B9 in the corresponding slot on the left of A4. And lock the buckle. Find and cut out parts B6, A26, and A17. Turn the front of A17 towards yourself, and install it in the corresponding slot on A26. Bend the clips left and right to fix them. Install the assembled A26 into the corresponding slot on the back of B6, and lock the buckle. Place the back of B6 facing you, fold it up 90 degrees along the dotted line. Install the clip of A26 into the corresponding slot, and lock the buckle. Fold it down slightly along the dotted line. Put the buckle in the corresponding slot. There are 3 in total. Lock the buckle to fix it. Bend the buckle of B6 upward 90 degrees. Install the assembled B6 in the corresponding slot on the right side of A44. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off B12, A41 parts. 12. Bend it back slightly into an arc facing yourself. Fold the buckle 90 degrees backward. Install the folded clip of A23 on the left side of B12 on the reverse side of the corresponding slot, and lock the buckle from the reverse side on the folded slot of B6. And lock the buckle to fix it. Continue to bend B12. Install the folded buckle in the other slot. And lock the buckle to fix it. Fold the B9 and A18 clips forward 90 degrees. Install the folded buckle on the reverse side of A41. And lock the buckle. Find and cut out A10, A15, A7 parts. Place A10 with the front facing you. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line to form a square. Put the side buckle in the other slot. And lock the buckle to fix it. Pass the folded long clip of A10. Pass through the corresponding slot of A15 from the front. Note that the buckle is not locked. Continue to pass the A10 clip through the corresponding slot of A27. Note that the buckle is not locked. Find and cut A42, A6 parts. Insert a 3mm white pearl into the lower end of A6. Bend the clip left and right to fix the bead. Turn the reverse side of A6 towards you. Fold the buckle up 90 degrees. Install the folded A6 into the corresponding slot on the front of A42. And lock the buckle to fix it. Continue to pass the A10 clip through the corresponding slot of A42. Note that the buckle is not locked. Find and cut A8 and A12 parts. Insert a 3mm white pearl into the bottom of A8. Bend the buckle left and right to fix the bead. Turn the A8 front side facing yourself and fold the buckle back 90 degrees. Put the folded A8 into the corresponding slot on A12. And lock the buckle to fix it. Continue to pass the A10 clip through the corresponding slot of A12. Note that the buckle is not locked. Find and cut off the A11 and A46 parts. The A10 buckle continues to pass through. Pass through the corresponding slot on A46. Note that the buckle is not locked. Continue to pass the A10 clip through the corresponding slot of A11 from the front. Note that the buckle is not locked. Find and cut off A45. Insert 2 3mm white pearls into A45. And bend and lock the buckle left and right. Continue to pass the A10 clip from the back through the A45 slot. And lock the buckle. Fix the other end of A10 clip on the back of B3 and A4. And lock the buckle. Apply some glue to the blue part of A45. And stick on a 3mm light blue semicircle patch. Find and cut out A34, A14 parts. Turn the back of A14 towards you. And fold it up 90 degrees along the dotted line. Insert a 5mm magnet into the folded A14. Install the folded A14 into the corresponding slot on A34. And lock the buckle. Install the B3 buckle on the corresponding slot of A34. And lock the buckle to fix it. Fold the wings. Adjust the shape to make it more vivid and three-dimensional. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to the blue part. And stick onto 2 mm light blue semicircular patches. Fold the small ring at the top of a 42 to 90 degrees. Do the same operation. Fold the small ring at the top of a 12 90 degrees forward. Find and cut a 3/6, a 3 to 0 pieces. Insert a 3 mm white pearl into the bottom of a 32, and fold and fix the buckle left and right. Insert a 3 mm white pearl into the bottom of a 36, and fold the clips left and right to fix them. Open the opening of a 36 slightly. For subsequent installation, hang the opening of a 3/6 on the small ring of a 12. And close and fix the opening. Repeat the same operation. Hang the opening of a 3/2 on the small ring of a 4/2. And close and fix the opening. The body part is assembled like this for later use. Find and cut a 35, a 16, parts a 35, a 16, 11, on the front of a 35. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. To form a square, put the buckle on the other side of the slot. And lock the buckle. Install the assembled A into the corresponding slot on 11. And lock the buckle. A 16's front faces you. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. Fold the buckle 90 degrees upward. Insert a 5 mm magnet into a 35. Install the folded A16 in the corresponding slot on B11. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off. Find and cut part B5 to 5 with the front facing you. Fold the petals slightly upwards. To make it more vivid and three-dimensional, repeat the same operation. Fold 3. Insert 3 mm white pearls into B5. Continue to insert B5 into the corresponding slot on a 25. But don't lock the buckle. Complete the same operation. 2. Fasten the buckle of B5. Continue to insert it into the corresponding slot on B11. And lock the buckle. Repeat the same operation. Put the other assembled B5 on the other side of the slot of B11. And lock the buckle. Pass the folded A1 buckle. Pass through the folded A25 slot from the back. Don't lock the buckle. Continue to insert 3 mm of white pearls, and lock the buckle. Find and cut off a 49, a 3, a 4 parts, a 3 facing yourself. And fold it 90 degrees backward along the dotted line. Install the folded A3 in the corresponding slot on the back of a 49. And lock the buckle. The other end of the assembled A3, and fasten the buckle to the corresponding slot. And lock the buckle. Insert 3 mm white pearls into the A4 and A49 clips. Fold the clips left and right to fix them. There are 5 in total. B11 with the front facing you. Bend it slightly backward along the dotted line. Install the assembled A3 in the corresponding slot on the front of B11. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off a 28, a 30 parts. A 28 facing yourself. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. To form a square, put the buckle on the other side of the slot. And lock the buckle. Put the assembled A28 in the corresponding slot on a 30. And lock the buckle. Fix a 30 with the front facing you. Bend it slightly backward into an arc. Install the assembled A30 in the corresponding slot of B11. And lock the buckle. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to a 30, and stick onto 3 mm white semicircular pearls. A total of 2. Find and cut off parts B8 and A13. Insert 3 mm white pearls into the buckle of A13. And lock the buckle. Insert 3 mm white pearls into the buckle of B8. And lock the buckle. Install the assembled A13 in the corresponding slot of B11. And lock the buckle. Fix it. Put the assembled B8 in the corresponding slot of B11. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off parts B7 and A7. Place the front of A7 facing you, and lock the buckle on the A28 buckle. Fix it on the B7 buckle and insert a 3 mm white pearl. And lock the buckle. There are two B7 parts facing yourself. Bend it slightly backward into an arc. Turn the reverse side of B7 to yourself. Fold the buckle 90 degrees upward. Install the B11 buckle on the corresponding slot. And lock the buckle. Find and cut a 25. Parts a 25, a 48, and B5. A 25 with the front facing you. Fold the petals slightly upwards. To make it more vivid and three-dimensional, fold it in the same way. 4. Insert 3mm white pearls into B5. Continue to insert B5 from the front of a to 5. Without locking the buckle, repeat the same operation for 2 pieces. Fasten the buckle of B5, continue to pass through the corresponding slot on B7. And lock the buckle. Repeat the same operation. Insert 3mm white pearl and insert B5, continue to insert it into the corresponding slot on a 25. Repeat the same operation for 2 pieces. Insert the A48 buckle, continue to pass through the corresponding slot on B7. And lock the buckle. Find and cut a 50. A 50's front faces you. Fold it 90 degrees back along the dotted line. To form a square, install the side buckle on the other side slot. And lock the buckle. Put the assembled A50 on the B7, corresponding slot on the joint, and lock the buckle. Find and cut B2, A47, A19 parts. Second, face yourself and fold it 90 degrees back along the dotted line. To form a square, and install the side buckle into the other slot. And lock the buckle. Put the folded B2 on the corresponding slot on the front of a 47. And lock the buckle. Install the A50, and lock the buckle. And lock the buckle. Install the B2 buckle on the corresponding slot on the back of a 19, and lock the buckle. Find and cut off A5, B1, B13, A38 parts. B1's front faces you. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. To form a square, install the side buckle in the other slot. And lock the buckle. Install the assembled B1 in the corresponding slot on a 5. And lock the buckle. B13's front faces you. Fold it back 90 degrees along the dotted line. To form a square, install the side buckle into the other side slot. And lock the buckle. Install the assembled B13 in the corresponding slot on a 5's back. And lock the buckle. Install the B-clip on the corresponding slot on a 3080's back. And lock the buckle to fix it. Install the assembled B13 clip on the corresponding slot of a 30. And lock the buckle. Find and cut off A51, B4, A29, A39, 0, and B4, with the front facing yourself. Fold it 90 degrees back along the dotted line. To form a square, install the side buckle in the other slot. And lock the buckle. Fix it. Install the assembled B4 in the corresponding slot on a 5-1, and lock the buckle. Fix it. A29, facing yourself. Fold it 90 degrees back along the dotted line. To form a square, install the side buckle into the other side slot. And lock the buckle. And fix it. Fix the A29 buckle on the reverse side of a 51. And lock the buckle. Fix the B4 buckle on the corresponding slot on the back of a 39. And lock the buckle. Fix it. Install the assembled A29 clip in the corresponding slot of a 30. And lock the buckle. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to the buckle. And put on 4 2mm white pearls. A total of 4. Find and cut off A22, A20, and A9 parts. A20 with the front facing you. Bend both sides slightly towards the middle. Align the side slot with the middle slot. A9 facing forward. Fold the buckle back 90 degrees. Place the folded A9 on the corresponding buckle of the folded A20. Don't lock the buckle. Note that both layers need to be passed through. Continue to pass the buckle of A9 through the corresponding slot of A2. And lock the buckle. Fix it. Fix A22 with the back facing you. Fold it 90 degrees upward along the dotted line. Fold the B7 buckle 90 degrees to the front. Install the folded A22 buckle in the corresponding slot of B7. Put the folded B7 buckle on the corresponding slot of A22. Lock the buckle, fix it, apply glue to the blue part of B7. And stick on 3mm light blue semicircular patches. Turn it over to the front. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to the blue part. And stick on 4 3mm light blue semicircular patches. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to the corresponding slot, and insert 4mm white pearls. Apply glue to the corresponding slot, and insert 3mm white pearls. A total of 3. Find and cut out parts of 40, a 33, and a 31. Insert a 3mm white pearl into the lower end of a 40. And fold the clips left and right to fix them. Insert 3mm white pearls into the lower end of A. And fold the buckle left and right to fix it. Open the opening of a 3-1 slightly. For easy installation, hang the opening of a 3-1 on the corresponding small ring, and close and fix the opening. Hang the opening of a 3-1 on the corresponding small ring, and close and fix the opening. Hang the other two A31 openings on the corresponding small ring on the other side, and close and fix the opening. Hang the assembled A40 opening on the corresponding small ring, and close and fix the opening. Hang the assembled A33 opening on the corresponding small ring, and close the opening. The assembled one looks like this. Apply an appropriate amount of glue to the bottom of the cat head, and install a 5mm magnet. Make sure the poles attract each other with the body part. Don't install it backwards. Apply some glue to the top of the cat head, and install a 5mm magnet. Make sure the poles attract the crown part. Don't install it backwards. Put the headgear on the cat's head. Put the head with the headgear on the body part. The assembled one looks like this. Find and cut a 2. A 2 with the front facing you. Fold the buckle back 90 degrees. A 2 with the front facing you. Bend it back slightly into an arc. Put the folded A2 in the corresponding slot. Don't lock the buckle, and can be removed at will. Find and cut off C2, C4, C1, C3 parts. Insert the C2 buckle into the C1 slot and clamp it. Insert the opening of C4 into the opening of C2, and insert the C4 buckle into the C1 slot to fix. Insert the C4 and C2 clips into the C3 slot and fix them. Apply some glue to the middle hole of C3. And install a 5mm magnet. Note that it attracts the magnet at the bottom of the body. Don't install it backwards. Place the assembled cat head on the assembled bracket. All assembled. The finished product looks like this. Follow the bracket tutorial you bought. Find and cut off the F4, F2, F1 parts. Turn the back of F2 towards yourself, and install it on the front side of F4. Clamp and fix the F1 with the back facing you. And install it on the side slot of F4. Clamp and fix the other F1 facing yourself. And install it on the corresponding slot of F4. Clamp and fix the other F2 facing yourself. And install it on the corresponding slot of F4. And clamp it. Apply some glue to the blue part of F4. And stick on 4 3mm light blue semicircular patches. Find and cut E2, and find and cut F3. Apply some glue to the silver part on the back of E2. And stick it on the bottom of F2, and put F3 face up. And install it on the corresponding buckle. Clamp and fix it on the middle hole of F3. Apply an appropriate amount of glue, and install a 5mm magnet. Note that it attracts the magnet at the bottom of the body. Don't install it backwards. Find and cut E1, E3 parts, with E1 facing you. Fold the buckle back 90 degrees. Put the folded E1 in the corresponding slot of E3. And lock the buckle. Fix it on the front of F3, apply glue. And stick the assembled E3. Fold the 4 sides of E3 down 90 degrees along the dotted line. Find and cut out D1 and D4 parts, with D1 facing up. And install it on the buckle of E311. And lock the buckle. Turn the front of E4 towards yourself, and install it on the corresponding buckle of D1, and lock the buckle. Fix it on E3, and apply glue to the blue part. And stick on 4 3mm white semicircular pearl patches. A total of 4. Find and cut out D2, D3, and D4 parts. Second, insert 3mm white pearl, and fold the buckle left and right to fix it. Thirdly, insert 3mm white pearl, and fold the buckle left and right to fix it. Fourthly, insert a 3mm white pearl, and fold the buckle left and right to fix it. Hang the assembled D2 opening on the corresponding small ring of D1. And close and fix the opening. Hang the assembled D3 opening on the corresponding small ring of D1. And close and fix the opening. Hang the assembled D4 opening on the corresponding small ring of D1, and close and fix the opening. Place the assembled cat head on the assembled bracket. All the brackets are assembled. The finished product looks like this.